lesson 6 of Writer Grammar Book 3. Today, I would like to continue talking about perfect tenses. We started before talking about present perfect tense, and we gave the situation in which we use present perfect tense. Today, we'd like to continue talking about perfect tenses, but today, we'd like to continue present perfect continuous tense. So we'll see the situation in which we use present perfect continuous tense, and also we'll compare or we'll show the differences between present perfect tense and present perfect continuous. Let's see here, we have the definition or the rule, the situation in which we use present perfect continuous. Let's see, it is used to express an action that began in the past and is still continuing, or we can use it for an action that has recently stopped or just stopped. So different situations that we can use present perfect continuous tense in. First, we can use it to express an action that began in what? In the past and it is still continuing. Or also we can use it for an action that has recently stopped or just stopped. Dear learner, don't confuse between present continuous tense. Present continuous tense expresses an action that is happening now, like now I am teaching. Also, we have continuous, which is past continuous, and past continuous tense expresses an action was happening at certain time in the past. Example, I was teaching. I was teaching. So example, I start teaching at 7 o'clock and I finish at 9 o'clock. So at 7:10, I say I was teaching yesterday. So the action was continuing in the past and finished. Today, I would like to talk about present perfect continuous and see the situation. Let's see here, we will start with an action that began in the past and it is still continuing. Still continuing means in the present. Okay, let's see the form how we build a sentence in what we call present perfect continuous. We build a sentence using the persons. We have here the subjects like I, we, you, and they. We use the verb have, and then we use be plus what? Plus working, the form of the verb plus ing, and this one we call present participle. This form of ing plus this form of the verb plus ing, we call what? We call present participle. And present participle is a form of what? Of a verb that we use in what? In present perfect continuous. With the pronouns she, he, and it, we use has, and then we use what? We use been plus what? Plus the present participle of any verb. So example, here we have the verb work. So we put ing and say has been working. But here have been working. Let's see here we have some sentences to express the situation or tell us the situation in which we use the present perfect continuous. Mr. Thomas has been teaching. Mr. Thomas has been teaching in this school for 20 years. For 20 years, it means up to now. Has been teaching for what? For 20 years, up to this moment. Have you seen Richard? We've been, and with we use what? Have, and then be, looking forward for him all the afternoon. And up to this moment, we haven't found him. Okay, I have been working. With I, we use also have, and then be. Working, this is the present participle, on this model engine for 6 weeks. 6 weeks, and up to now, it hasn't finished. Number 4, it, and also with it we use the verb has and then been. It has been raining for 2 days and it looks as if it would never stop. Here it means also that it's raining, or up to now, it's what it's happening. George is what is a hard worker. George is what? Is a hard worker. So here he's been. And by the way, here his also is a short form from what he has. So he's been digging, and digging also is the present participle of the verb dig in what? In the garden all morning. So here in this situation, we see that all the action that expressed by present perfect continuous tense, the expressed action began in what? In the past and is still continuing. Still what? Continuing. And we form I, we, you, and they with what have, and then be plus what? Present participle. So here we have Thomas has been teaching. And also here have been looking for him. And here I have been working, and also it has been raining. And the last one here, he's been digging in the garden all morning. And we'll see the second situation in which we use present perfect continuous to show an action that has recently stopped or just stopped. Let's consider the second situation using the action that has recently stopped or just stopped. Let's see here we have some sentences to show this situation. You are out of breath. You are out of breath now. So we ask the question, have you been running? Have you been running? So here, have you been running? The action has just stopped and you are out of breath now. Number two, Paul is very tired. Now, Paul is very tired, but he's not working. He's been working very hard. He's means he has. He's been working very hard. He stopped working, but he's very tired. Number three, why are your clothes so dirty? Your clothes are so dirty now. So we ask the question and say, what have you been doing? What have you been doing? We are asking about the action that you finished and the result of it. Your clothes are very dirty. Right. So number four, I have been talking to Carol about the problem, and she thinks that I've been talking about the problem. I've been talking to Carol. So here I have, and then been talking. This is the present participle. But here it shows that the action just finished, or we, as we said recently, what finished here. I've been talking to her. Now I'm not talking to her, but I have been talking to Carol. So in this or these sentences, we find that the example, have you been running? And the example number two, he's been working. And what have you been doing? As well, I have been talking. In these sentences, we express actions that has recently stopped or just stopped. Let's continue seeing the differences between present perfect continuous and present perfect. Okay, let's see the differences between present perfect continuous and present perfect tense. Here in A, we have present perfect continuous. In B, we have present perfect tense. Here we have the situation. Let's see the situation in which we use present perfect continuous and also in which we use present perfect tense. Anne's clothes are covered in paint now. She's been painting the ceiling. So she's been painting what? The ceiling. The ceiling, she's in the middle or finished, it doesn't matter. Why? Because we are interested in the action itself. Why? The action of what? Of painting. Whether she finished or not finished. So we're not interested in the result. We're interested in what? In the action itself. So we say, she's been painting the ceiling. She's been what? Painting the ceiling. Why? Because Her clothes now are covered in what? In paint. We use present perfect to what? To show the result, or when we are interested in the result of the action. So here example, the ceiling was white. Now it's blue. Now it's what? Blue. Anne has painted the ceiling. Anne has painted the ceiling. So here, painted the ceiling is a complete action. Why? Because we are interested in the result of the action, not in the action itself. But here, we are interested in the action itself, the action of painting. So we use present perfect continuous. So when we are interested in the action itself, we use present perfect continuous. But when we are interested in the result of the action, we use present perfect tense. And has painted the ceiling. Let's take another example. My hands are dirty. My hands are dirty. Now, I have been repairing the car. I have been repairing the car. So this here is present perfect continuous, and the situation we are interested in the action. Okay, number two, let's see the present perfect. The car is okay again now. The car is okay now. I have repaired it. I have repaired it here. This one is present perfect tense. Let's take another example here. She's been smoking too much. Recently, she should stop smoking, or she should smoke less. So here, she's been smoking. The action of smoking is still happening with her now. She should smoke less. But here, number two, using present perfect, somebody has smoked. Somebody has smoked all the cigarettes. The pocket is empty. The pocket is what? Empty. But the action is a complete action. Because of that, we use present perfect. Let's take the last example. Where have you been? Have you been playing tennis? Have you been playing tennis? But for complete action here, have you ever played tennis? Have you ever? And here, the action of playing is what is complete action, which is play it. Have you ever played tennis? So when we use present perfect continuous and when we use present perfect, we use present perfect continuous when we are interested in what in the action itself, while here, but we use present perfect tense when we are interested in the result of the action. Finally, let's see using how long and using how many or how many times. We use how long with the present perfect continuous to show the action is still happening or the action has been what? Continuing. Here example, how long have you been reading that book? I can answer, I've been reading that book for 2 days. I've been reading that book for 3 or 4 days. So the action is still continuing. But we use how many or how many times, and we use it with present perfect to show a completed action. Example, how many pages of that book have you read? So you can answer and you can say, I have read 3 pages, or I have read 4 pages, or I have read 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 pages. Another example is here also, how long? So we say, how long has Mary been writing letters? She's been writing letters for a month, or she's been writing letters for a year. But here, how many letters has she written today? So we can answer using present perfect and say, she has written 5 letters today, or she's written 10 letters, or she's written 25 letters. So we use how long with what? With present perfect continuous to show the action is still continuing, but we use how many and or how many times with what? Present perfect tense to show a completed action like this action. So feel free to ask question or subscribe and write your comments underneath. Thank you very much.